Since starting the Fresh Out series, we've been getting tons of emails about prison life. So we decided to start this series to answer all those questions you have. Prison life can be a scary thing if you know what you're walking into. You can end up in a deadly situation or get fucked up. I'm Big Herc, and I served nearly a decade in federal prison. And I've seen and lived through some shitty times. And this is Prison Talk. Another person wrote in and asked us, I want to know what really happened to child molesters in prison. And as a prisoner, are you obligated to split a molester's wig? Pretty much if you know a person's a child molester, if you know, you have to let other people know. Because if people find out that you were hanging out with a guy who was a child molester and you didn't tell somebody, you're gonna get your wig split. So if you're out there touching on kids, or you're a child molester, or you got busted for having sex with underage, teenagers, whatever the case may be, you go to prison, somebody's gonna find out about what you're locked up for, whether it's a guard who don't like you, who tells somebody else what you're in there for, or somebody has a person on the street, go online and check your paperwork. But one way or the other, they're gonna find out you're a child molester and you're gonna get your wig split. So if you find out that the guy's a child molester, you might as well just slap him upside the head and split his wig yourself so you don't get your wig split. So that's what happens to child molesters. They get their head busted. So the subway boy, you're gonna get your head busted while you get in prison. My question is, we have another email from another fan, and they asked us, my question is, how do inmates negotiate with guards to get what they want? Well, in prison you have basically different shot callers for different races and different gangs. You might have a shot caller for the natives, you might have a shot caller for the Crips, for the Bloods, for the Serranos, for the Norteños, for the GDs, for the Vice Lords, for various gangs, the Pisces, whatever the gangs are, you have various shot callers for those gangs. And whenever there's an issue that affects the whole institution, usually those shot callers basically can dictate when they organize what happens in that facility. So for instance, when I was at a particular institution, they had a lockdown, and basically the lockdown was organized by all the shot callers for the various gangs. And once that shot caller says, hey, this is what we're gonna do, you basically have to roll with that. If you think you're one of those dudes who are just gonna do what you wanna do or not roll with the institution program, you're gonna get your wig split. And that's just how it is. It don't matter if you're banging or not, or if you think you're just a Christian, or you're non-religious, or whatever the case may be, you still gotta participate, because it's something that affects the whole institution. And that's how a lot of times political situations are settled in prison, whether it's a food issue, maybe it's an issue with, it might be a clothing issue or visitation issue, but usually the institution gets together and everybody, the different groups, basically make a decision, and they tell their people, and that's how things are settled in prison. And then the guards go, not actually the guard, it'd be the warden talking to the shot callers or the warden's assistant, and finding out what it is they need to settle whatever dispute that the institution has. But that's usually how things are worked out in prison. You have the leaders of the different individual groups, and you have the warden with his different individuals he has, whether it's a lieutenant, assistant warden, and they go and deal with the people and they work everything out. So that's how things are worked out in prison.